I was going to say earlier when you talked about, Miss Jean brought up a great point about people forgetting that we're
Yeah,
blind.
yeah,
And you, my friend, are a perfect representation of that because I met you at a very wonderful age.
Yeah,
5 or 6 years old, you don't think about your buddy being blind. That's not something that you even really comprehend much. All you thought about was that we were skateboarding and we were swinging from ropes on trees and we were climbing said trees
yeah,
and we were whistling around on the ground. You never stopped to think about me being blind. It never even occurred to you. And that's fantastic.
yeah.
yeah. No, no, for sure, man. And then, and I feel like great example of just like I mean, all the things you've done. Like you've accomplished a lot. You've lived like an active lifestyle. You've lived like like just you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, I've kind of followed it with you over the years, and like and for the just for that to be like essentially you were like my example of like what a blind person was. It's like, well, that seems like he does all like the same stuff that we all do. Like we accomplish all the same things, and so yeah, it was never a limiting thing. I think when people even use words like limiting or whatever, it's projecting our own fear. Like as somebody who's not blind, like how useless. Like if you tie like a blindfold on the average person on the street, like they literally couldn't probably tie their own shoe, probably couldn't like find their way home. They probably couldn't, literally do things that they do every day, and I think when people, view it in a certain way, it's just like a kind of a projecting of our own fears, or at least I guess I can't speak for
Oh,
everybody, but
absolutely.
And I think
Yeah,
that kind of goes back to what I was saying about me having to date again. And not all women, and I don't want to generalize here. It certainly hasn't been all women, but several women have just assumed, well, if I date this guy, I'm gonna have to do stuff for him. And
right,
that's
right,
just not true.
right,
well,
right.
and let me pause you there, man, because as like I don't know if you the word able-bodied or whatever is weird, but like just as me not being blind or handicapped, guess what? My wife had to take care of me when I had surgery. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's a
Yeah,
it's a very like it's a tough question to ask on a first date. But to act like they wouldn't have to do nothing if you wasn't blind, like I'm not blind. My wife had to do so much for me over that 3 month period after my surgery, and so like you never know. Somebody gets in a car wreck. Somebody, or like I had a hernia surgery. It's like the most normal surgery. It's like I think the most common surgery in America. But like still, it sucked, and it put me on my ass for 3 months. And in that time, my wife had to do a lot of heavy lifting around here. And so it's like I think that is just super unfair because like that just happened to me like a couple months ago. So like I said, it's me. Like nobody asked me that question, but for them to ask you that question, I think it is very unfair because like that could you could have to do something for
Well,
anybody.
I'm not sure which response kind of makes me laugh more. The women who ask me, what am I gonna have to do for you? Or there's another category of women who think that I'm lying. And I'm like, man, first of all, that's an elaborate lie. And second of all, who would lie about something like that?
right,
That's a
right,
those
Like being
women have
blind
had
is going
some
to get you more women?
those women have heard some outlandish pickup lines in their day. They've I guarantee you that they've heard some wild ones in their day.
And the other thing, Dom, too, is it's, it people when they find out that we live alone, it shocks them
Oh yeah,
because they say, "What do you mean you live alone?"
I get that a lot. People are like, well,
Yeah,
do you live with your parents? Do you live with friends?
right.
No, I live with
No,
myself.
no, no. They say, "How do you figure things out?" And I say, "Well, guess what? There's ways. There's things called labeling. We are so blessed that at this point in our time of history, that there are so many electronic gadgets
Oh
out
yeah.
there and ways for us to label things
Oh, ways for us to do anything.
for anything.
There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much technology now.
Yeah, and like for instance, Cameron's come over and because he didn't because he was married and he had a wife that could see. One of the things that I've taught him about is that I have this device. It's called a pen friend, and what you can do is you literally make use digital dots and record into them. so that you can mark things with voice recordings. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and so there's and all sorts of labeling. You know, we can label things in Braille, we can label things with different shaped things, safety pins. You know, there's so many ways to cope. And you know, so living by yourself is no big deal at all.
No, I live alone
Yeah,
now that I'm, divorced, and I get everything done. Get my groceries done. I cook for myself.
takes care of two kids. He's got two
I
kids.
have two small children that I take care of.
Yeah, yeah.
That just, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, like I said, it's meant as the most flattering way, but it literally blows my mind. Just because, like I said, I wouldn't be able to. Like I said, that's where that comes from. Like,
Well,
if
yes,
if
you
I
would. Yes, you would because you would
with
figure it
time,
out.
right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you'd figure it out because you have to. There's no other way. There's no other way to get around. It's just it becomes your way of life, and that's just all it is.
No,
Um,
you're right. You're right. Humans are very adaptable. Even in the in all types of circumstances,
oh yeah.
humans and just life in general finds a way. As they say, life finds a way.